I'm Heidi Hewitt, AutoCAD Technical Marketing Manager at Autodesk, and I'm here with Guillermo Melantoni, Senior Product Manager of User Interaction and Interoperability at Autodesk. Guillermo, can you describe for our customers that are using AutoCAD with 3D modeling, can you describe some of the interoperability best practices that they might have if they're interfacing with other applications?
Sure. I would say that there are two very different workflows here. One is when you're going from AutoCAD into visualization applications, and the other one is when you're going from AutoCAD into applications that lead to fabrication, for example, like Inventor, or to building information modeling like Revit. If you're going into visualization applications, like, for example, like 3ds Max or Showcase, those applications already work with the concept of a mesh, right? So normally any application that's a render ends up having a tessellation of the whole thing into triangles. So it doesn't matter if you're using mesh, solid, or surfaces, everything will end up becoming triangles at the very end. So if you're using a mesh, it's okay, you can just take that. If you're using a solid or a surface, those things will get tessellated into Max or Showcase, and that's fine. While when you go into the other applications, when you really want to end up in fabrication, then for example, a mesh may not be exactly the best idea. In that sense, for example, if you are using a mesh as a very intuitive, again, a method of sculpting, my advice here is try to convert that either into a solid or into a surface, right? Because both of them have kind of the same kind of definition of the boundary representation, what we call BREP, right? And that can go perfectly either into Revit or into Inventor. Probably in Inventor, you would, if you're doing digital prototyping, and you have surfaces, you will need to thicken them. You can do that in AutoCAD first, so do it there. Normally, I would suggest to do it in Inventor because there are more tools which are more discipline specific, right? For example, if it's sheet metal, there are some different specific rules for sheet metal that Inventor already has within the application, and in AutoCAD you will just be modeling. So just leave that part probably to the fabrication application. And if you're going into Revit, normally what you want to do with a conceptual design from AutoCAD into Revit is convert the faces, right, into walls, floors, curtain walls, that kind of stuff, right? So one interesting thing to consider is that Revit, in order to create floors, it needs to slice a mass. So in order to slice a mass, of course, you need to have a solid, right? So if you have an enclosure of space based on surfaces, and you need to create the floors, my suggestion would be to sculpt the surfaces and convert that into a solid. You can do that, for example, and get that into a different layer or something, so you don't lose the surfaces while you make the sculpt. So, for example, the sysbar delobbed, you can just tweak it into 0, so there's nothing lost there.
Because so the probably delete object system variable you're talking about. Okay.
Right. So in that case, you will keep the surfaces, but then you will send the solid into Revit, and then Revit can say, yeah, okay, it's a solid, so I'll be able to slice. If not, you'll just be able to create the walls or curtain walls, but not create the floors. So just a couple of minor things that you have to consider in order to take that information into applications that, like Revit or Inventor, that build stuff, as opposed to applications that render stuff like Showcase or 3ds Max.
Okay, that's good advice. I like the differentiation there between when they really need the meshes, like the visualization tools that you're talking about. So that's good advice. Thanks for sharing, Guillermo.